Campaign 2016, Donald Trump makes fiery new charges that Hillary Clinton is against the police.
Yeah, but Trump himself is under fire after reports about a new campaign advisor with plenty of baggage himself. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan is here with the very latest. Dave.
Yeah, Trump definitely got the pot stirring tonight in a speech he made in Wisconsin, speaking in a state which had just seen 2 days of rioting in Milwaukee after the police shooting of an armed man. Donald Trump embarked on a campaign to convince African-American voters that Hillary Clinton is their own worst enemy.
Just like Hillary Clinton is against the minors, she is against the police, believe me.
Jumping into another heated controversy, Donald Trump poured more gasoline on the political fire Tuesday night, telling his supporters in Wisconsin, where there were very few black faces, that Hillary Clinton supported policies that have destroyed African-American neighborhoods in the inner cities and is anti-police.
My opponent, Hillary, would rather protect the offender than the victim. Big problem in our society. Hillary Clinton-backed policies are responsible for the problems in the inner cities today, and a vote for her is a vote for another generation of poverty, high crime, and lost opportunities.
Earlier, Trump met with Milwaukee area law enforcement amid unrest and violent street protests following the police shooting of an armed black man on Saturday. After 2 days of rioting, Governor Scott Walker, who attended Trump events in Wisconsin on Tuesday, put the state National Guard on standby. Trump told a local CBS station the street violence will only slow economic investment.
You see what's happening on television, you don't want to go and exactly develop there. I mean, they hurt themselves in a certain way.
But as has sometimes been the case in this campaign, Trump's message is overshadowed by events or statements he makes that are off message. And both CNN and the New York Times are quoting sources now who say ousted Fox News chairman Roger Ailes, who left under a cloud of sexual harassment accusations, is now advising Trump in preparation for the upcoming presidential debates, perhaps as an unofficial advisor who's not being paid. The campaign strongly denies the report, saying this about Trump and Ailes: they are longtime friends, but he has no formal or informal role in the campaign. Ailes is a respected political advisor who coached both Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan on their presidential debates. But both Ailes and Trump have had clashes with women as well, like this with Carly Fiorina during the Republican debates.
Donald Trump said the following about you, quote, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that, the face of our next president?"
I think women all over this country heard very clearly what Mr. Trump said.
Claremont McKenna College political science professor Jack Pitney says any association with Ailes could be a mixed blessing for Trump.
Well, it helps in some ways. Ailes has a great deal of experience. He was very important to George H.W. Bush in the 1988 campaign. But there's also a big downside. First are the accusations of sexual harassment. Any association with Ailes is going to hurt Trump among female voters, and Trump can't afford to lose any more ground.
And as Hillary Clinton held her rally in Philadelphia, FBI agents were handing Republican leaders in Congress material which had been classified as secret from their investigation of the Hillary Clinton email case, with the expectation it will not be disseminated or disclosed. Cold comfort for Democrats who worry Republicans will now leak more material from the email file selectively because they believe Clinton should have been prosecuted. On Monday, congressional Republicans sent a letter to the U.S. Attorney in Washington outlining evidence of what they called perjury and false statements by Clinton when she testified about her email server last October.
They also went through every single email.
The lawyers doing the sorting for Secretary Clinton in 2014 did not individually read the content of all of her emails.
Now, Clinton aides told CBS News they would have preferred that the FBI report be released to the public, not to partisan lawmakers, declaring that this was an extraordinarily rare step that was sought solely by Republicans so they can second-guess their career professionals at the FBI. Lena?